I'll go first.
You want to go first?
I'll go first.
You're on.
So, my life is like a novel of dark mystery and suspense. I was born in. No, I'm kidding. I was born in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Originally from there. I was born there. Was there most of my life. And growing up was different. My family, I loved them to death, but they were a little rough. I had a stepfather, and so that was a interesting life. I still have my dad too, yeah, but I had two dads, my dad and my stepdad, and that was just a whole thing. And with my stepdad, we moved around quite a bit in Tennessee, so we were never in one place for too long. And eventually, I'm done with that. Stayed at my grandmother's, and that was fun. Grew up in private school, which was an interesting experience. It was a blessing in disguise, but also different because you got to see different perspectives. Then I went to a co-op school, still Christian co-op school. Best schooling I ever had. Teacher was great. And I have to center this like, hey, I mentioned you. And then after all of the charades of my life, I moved to Oklahoma to be with her. And now we're here. And I could tell you more in depth, but we'd be here for like probably 4 hours, and we don't have time for that. So if you want to do another interview, let me know.
Okay. Well,
He'll gladly do it.
Oh, yeah, well, that's great.
Yeah.
Where were you born?
I was born in a little town, well, outside the little town of Oklahoma of about 500 people, to an agronomist and a library media specialist. So lots of school events, doing inventory. I grew up on a Christmas tree farm, which was interesting. It turned into a hay farm after a while. A lot different than his in the city. So I went to college for natural resource ecology and management. I got a grad certificate in GIS. It's just paperwork. It's a lot of work, but I like the outdoors and stuff.
Yeah. Where'd you go to college?
Oklahoma State University, and then I did an online thing with Utah State University.
Wow. Well, how did you two meet?
YouTube. Yeah.
You say that again.
YouTube.
Okay. Everybody seems to know what that means except
You know
me.
where you see all the videos online?
Yeah, YouTube.
But
Okay.
It was before Facebook, before Instagram, before all those things. It was more in the comment section of the videos that people would like to talk. And then it was like Facebook where you could have messaging back and forth. I think you still can, but I don't know. I didn't keep up with that. So we've been trying to figure out what year that was. It was in my high school. I think you were in high school at the time. Maybe 2006, maybe 2007. It was around there.
Wow. Okay. So who traveled?
I know it's in my eyes. It's fun.
Oh, okay.
Well, we were originally going to meet in 2013. My family was going to help me get out there to meet him. But unfortunately, my father passed. So then we waited a year, and I went to go volunteer at a refuge in Montana. I know, it's a lot. So I would drive 3 miles to get any cell reception, and then we'd also watch videos together by going 1, 2, 3, click, and then we'd have the phone and the iPad at the same time, and we'd watch movies. On his end, it was a lot less work, but eventually, I think it was 2018, he moved out to be with me. Was it 2018? Yes. Oh, wait, that was 2017. I was in Montana. The timeline is messy. We've known each other for like 20 years, but not in person for most of that time. More like 5 years in person. Oh, sorry, I'm taking the mic.
I did fly to meet her the year previous.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And I was kind of and all my coworkers and friends were like, "Are you sure? You're not going to get murdered in Oklahoma, are you?" I was like, "No, it's fine. I've been talking to this girl. Trust me. she's real. I'm not just running away from this. It's fine. So I flew up there, and that was spent like a week there in Oklahoma, and that was a wonderful time. Then like we just really kept talking after that, more than we normally did, and then we're kind of like, hey, I really want to be with you, but I don't know if you should move here or I move there. And she's like, you move here. I was like, all right.
I didn't make that choice. All your friends and family was like, take him away from here now. And I was like, okay.
Wow. Wow. All right. Well,
Where were they taking you away from?
Mainly because my family life was not great, and all my friends love me to death. They're basically my family, and they're like, hey, if you want to move to Oklahoma, do it. Go do it. And I was like, all right. Bye. I still talk to them. It isn't like I don't talk to them anymore, but it was a fun time.
I guess we're maybe not clear where you actually were. Were you still in Tennessee or?
I was still in Tennessee when I moved to Oklahoma. I had not been anywhere else in my life. I mean, I visited a few other places in my life, but I'd always been in Tennessee, and then I moved to Oklahoma. And now we're here.
Okay, so you came here from Oklahoma. You came to Las Cruces, and you work for the Park Service. Harlan, who do you work for?
I work for the hospital, Mountain View.
You do.
I'm not a nurse. I work in materials management. I receive all the supplies in so the nurses can have everything to treat everybody. So
Okay, all right. Do you
So-
work day shifts regularly?
I work day shift primarily. I don't do nights because, no. But no, mainly just receiving all this stuff in. So if you work in the medical field, thank you for all that you do, because the medical field is, I've learned quite a few things just from working with those people, because nurses will come and ask me and they'll go, we need tubing. I have like 50 kinds. What kind do you need?
Okay.
So it's a fun experience.
All right, so you work for Mountain View. I didn't know that. And why Morningstar?
Because you guys are awesome, man.
Yeah, so we're glad we're awesome. When did you start coming here?
So I was part of a United Methodist Church in Oklahoma
Aha.
that shut down, and then we were at a different one, and my mom was the regional food bank person. She still is. But then when we left to New Mexico, he was online churching with the church in Tennessee, but it was around 2021, so not a lot of people were going to church at the time. And so I was like, let's go to United Methodist. We tried a few, but it was important for me personally to find somewhere that was accepting, just because we're both what people would call nowadays neurodivergent. And just accepting, because our lifestyle, whether it's the way we grew up or the way we work, not everybody would know about, or just who we are, just accepting in all aspects of life, basically.
Neurodivergent.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
I have ADHD,
You have ADHD.
and I
you're neurodivergent.
don't act like other people sometimes. I stand out too much sometimes.
And I have autism, though originally called Asperger's, but then they're like, we're just going to say you're on the autistic spectrum. And then I'm like, I just have Asperger's, which makes me different in many ways. Much like her, I stand out. If you ever hear me mumbling myself, I just talk to myself because that's how I sing. So don't worry. I'm not hearing voices. I promise you. I'm just like, I need to do this. And then I'll go and ranting about myself, and it's fine. So
Tell us how Morningstar has been welcoming to you in regard to what you feel are these aspects of your personalities, or however you say it. You've gone other places and people weren't welcoming?
It's not that they weren't welcoming, it's that I didn't think they would be accepting of one aspect of life, but I wouldn't know if they would understand other aspects of life, and if they didn't, I didn't know if for one person or the other. So it wasn't that they would accept one person, they would be more understanding of both people, is what I was looking for. But this is a very understanding church of a lot of different things, so I felt a lot safer here. Yeah.
I know Judy and David are in the audience, and I only met Judy Monday and David this morning, but they were in Amy's class for potential new members with you. How was that class?
It was great, and if you're thinking about joining the church, you should go to it.
What was it like? Expand on that for us, because a lot of us were here before we had those classes. And Patty and I were Methodists for years in different churches, but never, as I recall, sat down for that kind of an opportunity. So tell us about Amy's class, which is happening now. For other people, obviously.
It's really nice because one, Amy goes through kind of like, in case you don't know what the Methodist Church is kind of about, what it believes and stuff like that, like a quick rundown and stuff, and then goes over sort of just like how, hey, here's what we feel and think and how opening they are, and just like going through like, we want you to feel welcome here, and just sort of like, if we're not for you, that's okay, but we would be glad to have you, and this is a feeling I took because it's really opening to allow everyone sort of express like, hey, I'm shaking because I'm a little cold. I'm just energetic, so don't worry. I get cold easy. Anyway.
Yeah, me too.
Just sort of like everyone gets to share sort of their experience before and what brought them here, and I think that's important because in some churches they don't really care where you've been. They just want to be like, hey, here's a class, learn, sign up, thanks. And not all churches are like that. I've been to a few that were like, hey, here's a class, and we want you to attend for like a month before you decide to come here. But Amy's class is like, you can keep coming if you want to. I think you can probably go if you more than once. For us, it was like, we've been going here for a while. So the class was just like the final step, like, we want to join. And it felt very welcoming.
Well, for me, when I joined, I don't remember what year I joined the Methodist Church. It was in the first church in Oklahoma with my family. But I went through like a week process, and you talk through it and everything. But when he came and joined the church, he didn't get that, so I kind of wanted him to at least have a little of that if he wanted to, you know.
Well, was Morning Star? How was Morning Star different from your Methodist experience before, or wasn't it?
It wasn't that different. I mean, I went to more traditional services, and since he liked the more non-traditional services, we were planning on trying a bit of each, but then it's just more convenient to stay in the morning. So it is pretty different in terms of that for me, but in terms of everything else, it's about the same. Yeah.
Well, 9:15 and 11:15 are different here. Music, particularly, I think. I've gone to both services. Fantastic, what you're talking about. What else do you have to say about the church?
I think, like, Morning Star personally for me is just like, what led me to keep coming here is just everybody's friendly. Like, I know all your faces. I know I don't know all your names. You guys know my face. You know her by me, just like, oh yeah. And it's like, just like, everybody's welcoming and friendly. Like, even if you don't know someone's name, you're still like, hey, I know you. How you doing? And it's just that welcoming thing, which, like, I've had before. I've had welcoming experiences. Not to say I went to a church and like, what are you doing here? It's just like, Morning Star just has this thing of positivity. And when it's one of the churches that I've seen really affected community. Like the church I was watching online and also attended was trying to do that in a sense, but they were kind of closed. Yeah, I know. I don't know why I'm shaking. I just get cold and my body's like, oh, I'm cold now. I'm like, I don't feel cold. Leave me alone. But anyway, so it's just one of those things of different approaches that, like, you see what's happening in the community and you know that not just going here and, you know, giving what you can. It's like you see the effect and it's like, that's what we need. And I like being part of that. Like, because sometimes I feel like, when I go to church previous, they'd be like, you got to do all these things. And if you're not doing it, you shouldn't be here. And it's like, coming here is like, even though not doing like a bunch of stuff, I still feel like I'm having effect. Just like being here and doing what I can is like, that's all we ask for. Do what you can.
Amen, indeed. You washed my feet on Maundy Thursday.
That was a nice experience.
That was a nice. It was a nice experience. It was a beautiful experience, actually. I'm sorry you're cold. I get cold, too. Yeah, it's
He's just very
No.
sensitive to temperature changes. And
yeah,
things.
yeah.
For
You want a sweater? No,
yeah.
I don't think it's being offered. I think she's putting it on. Yeah.
For me, having the mother that I had, she did bowling and quiz bowl and community programs and all that. So it was important to have some places that actually helped with the community, like the ramps or the pantry. So, not that I can be part of it since I'm working on most of those days, but I was going to try to in between seasons.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, we got some time. I wanted to ask each of you, so I will. What's your favorite thing about Harlan?
It's putting me on the spot.
Well, you knew I was gonna.
I know.
It was with fair warning.
It probably depends on what time, because we've known each other for like 20 years. It's probably changed over the years.
Yeah. How about currently?
Just the opportunity to grow together and the understanding that comes between us.
Yeah. And you, her?
Well, the understanding part one, and this has been true, I think, for our entire relationship. Kay's been like one of the most understanding people I've ever met. And I'm the type of person that like always afraid that people will misunderstand me. And Kay's been like the one like, okay. Like we talk about everything, so it isn't like, she just, doesn't. But it's one of those things that she's been very understanding, and I just love her a lot. And she's always encouraging, and like no matter what, she always like if there's something on my mind, she knows. She always knows, because I have a habit of not talking about what's on my mind until I'm going stir crazy. She's like, what's going on? And I'll just tell her, and she's like, you're silly. Why didn't you tell me that? And then I'll feel better. And it's just like one of those things, the aspects of love, like you don't think about. So that's my favorite part about her.
It's unbelievably special. Is there anything that I should have asked you that I haven't asked you so far? How about these guys? They probably want to ask you stuff. Like that lady right there.
What's your question?
I want to know how you knew that getting married on the plaza was the next step.
The question, I have to repeat it because I have to repeat it. Eileen said she wanted to know how getting married on the plaza in 2024 was the next right step.
Well, we kind of figured if we don't do it now and we move again, it's just going to be one of those things that like, well, we probably should get married, and are we going to have the chance? So the plaza was like, hey, it's free, which is a nice gift. It's a nice gift. Like, it's free to us. The church provides a lot, which was very generous. Like, when we went there, I was not expecting half of what was there. Just like thinking about it, I was like, wow, this feels awesome. So it was like, we just need to take the next step and get married now. Because even my friends were like, when you guys going to get married? It's been like, you've been there like so long. Like, you just need to get married. And we're like, we're getting married. And now everyone's like, you didn't invite us. I'm like, I told you, we're doing a thing. We're going to do the reception later. We're coming partying with you.
So we didn't invite anybody because our family they're older and we're trying to move back towards them, but so we didn't invite pretty much anyone, but and which upset a few people, but it'll be okay. Non-traditional wedding. Well, it was traditional in a sense, but it's not that we didn't tell everybody. It's just we're like, yeah, you don't need to show up. But we were thinking about getting married in 2023, but then that time passed. We were thinking about moving. You have the moving costs, the fact that I started as a seasonal, and also my job. I started as an intern, not a seasonal, and then I went to seasonal. So there's money restrictions involved as well.
What does seasonal mean with the National Park Service?
It means, well, usually it's either 6 months or a term, like only a couple years. It just depends. So I've been 6 months on, 6 months off.
Uh-huh.
And you apply to it, you're not really, this is where you have to go, like state parks. So you have to do job hunts every 6 months, basically, and might have to move and all that. But I told him ahead of time, so he knew what he was getting into. And
Any more
Questions?
questions?
I bet there are. I'm surprised there's not.
Come on, hit us with a whammy. Come on.
Okay, Christy.
So,
Yeah.
I'm at Harlan first, because you have to work on Sundays, and I know you play some instruments, right?
I played piano in high school, and I wouldn't say it was playing good because I was like do 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 do, and that was all I kind of remember from playing. I've wanted to play guitar for a long time, but I never got a chance to learn it properly. And one time I did. I think my cousin was like, "That's pretty groovy, but you've been doing the same rhythm for like 2 hours. Could you kind of chill out?" So I was like, special about being autistic, you just do the same thing over and over again. And it's like, I like this pattern, this sticks there. And it's like, I've been doing this for like 2 hours. I probably should stop.
Katie, are you musically inclined?
I played the tuba in high school, so that's about it.
Were you in marching band?
Yes, but with a non-marching tuba. So the thumb got really tired, but I have a really strong thumb. The whole tuba. So not too much marching. We did have sousaphones, but they preferred the other one. I don't know why.
Anything else? Margaret? What is a non-marching
So
tuba?
sousaphones are what you would usually march with. A tuba for like if you're just sitting there, it's more of the straight one. So a non-marching tuba would just be named a sousaphone.
All right. Sue?
If you get another job, that means that Harlan has to get another job in another hospital somewhere?
So, yes, if we have to move, I would get the job first, and then he would find a job after. Well, that's kind of how we got here, too. I had the internship. He moved a month after, and then looked for a job, and then we both had jobs, and then I didn't have a job, and then I had a job again. So, yes, he would have to find another job. It makes things a little bit more complicated.
Which also depends too, because she did like do another national park for like 3 months, and 5 months. So I stayed here because I was like, it's 5. I'll stay here and we'll go from there. So that could maybe happen, but we'll probably end up moving because, like we're trying to do, because my dad's by himself. He has health issues. My mom's kind of by herself with some health issues. Her mom lives in Oklahoma by herself with health issues. So we're trying to move back that way. Not that we love New Mexico. And I'm like, we're going to retire here. Like, when we get older, we're going to come back and retire. It's great. I love the weather. It's great. So, any more questions before our time runs out?
Steve has a question.
Will you stay with Morningstar online?
I would say yes. I don't see us immediately like trying to find our church. It's kind of like me when I moved to Oklahoma. I kept watching the same church I was partially attending to. Like I would still go to her church and then watch my church afterwards. So double church, which
He had double church every Sunday for at least 2 years.
Yeah. What what led up to that answer was the question was, if Katie and Harlan need to move away, would they continue to tune in to Morning Star online? And you heard the answer, but the answer is yes, but you've also been doing double churches.
A little bit in the past, but
Yeah.
I will say this: like Morning Star, no matter where we go, you will be our church till the day I die. And now, granted, we may attend somewhere else, but your impact on, I want to say, our lives has just been that. Not just because you helped us get married. That's a side thing. Like that. While that's important, I just want to say that's not the reason why we'd stick with you. It's just your community, how you help the community, how all of you are welcoming. I will say this: the other day when I came here, I was kind of down in the dumps a little bit. The Holy Spirit touched me because look at all these people. Your reflection made my life better, made my entire day better. I was like, that's the impact you guys have on me. And I mean, I hope if anyone who comes here, if you're watching online, if you're able to attend here, that's the impact I will say you most likely will have. If not, there are snacks which will also help you feel better.
I forgot the question.
Okay, final question.
Yes. So you're talking about church in your life and Morning Star and how it impacts you. Have you thought about what your life would be if you didn't have a church and you didn't have that in your life?
Okay, so the question is, have you thought about what your life would be like without church in your life?
Well, I'm not very social, so I'd see a lot less people and have a lot less connections. While he is very social and really needs a lot more connections, so it would be a bit lonely for both sides, I believe. But in your own words,
What she said in a way, but also I feel like without church at all, or how it impacted, I think my life would be drastically different, because my life is a constant struggle of trying to maintain how I feel about the world, and like without church, when that reassuringness that there's hope, I think I'd be a very darker person than my soul already is. And when I mean dark, I mean I look at things kind of darkly, but always have a sense of hope. That's why I like crime novels, like, oh, this is dark, man, I hope there's a happy ending to this. So that's kind of how my life is. Like, I want to enjoy things in life because I see all the good things in humanity, and then I turn on the news and go, ah! And then, walk out the door and need some sunshine. So church is like that. It's going outside and enjoying the sun and realizing that, man, the nature, the birds, everything's beautiful and everything will be all right. Even though there may be fires behind you, it'll be okay. So that's kind of my outlook on it. I also like making people laugh, so.
Yeah, you did a good job. It's been a wonderful experience to hear your story and to see how much you love each other, and to hear you talk about the Holy Spirit in your life. And it's been great for all of us, and to have this memorialized in the parables, a storytelling project, and people can watch it, and you can watch it again. Yeah. And it's fun. So thank you so much.
no problem.
Thank you all for this wonderful opportunity.